Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to fire you up today with the topic of disruption, but a very different kind of disruption. This is not technological disruption per se, but regulatory disruption. And I think we're very honored today to have Secretary Raul Lambino, who is not just a brilliant cabinet member, but a true champion of regulatory disruption in the Philippines. Secretary Raul, it's great to have you here in KL.
Thank you, Enrique. Great pleasure indeed to be in the company of technical expert people. I am not a techie person, but I know how to cooperate and regulate for better practices relative to this disruptive technology.
So Secretary Lambino, going back in time a little bit, you've had a long career in practicing law. You've been involved in legislation. You've worked under 2 Philippine presidents. How did you end up being a champion for disruption?
Well, I never really planned to join government. It was 2 years ago when I was asked by President Duterte to join his cabinet, and he offered me a job that, something that's difficult to really do and transform from a corrupt government agency into something that has made a big difference in this new business model, and this is the Cagayan Economic Zone Authority. CEZA, as we call it, used to be a haven for smuggling, haven for illegal gambling, and haven for all sorts of illegal activities in North Luzon. But when I came in, the very first order of business that I do was remove all these illegal gambling operations that are happening in the Philippines, but the license was issued by CEZA. I cannot understand how a group of people could do such thing, operating somewhere else in Metro Manila and other parts of the country, but their license is there, taken from this remote area in northern Luzon. So we stopped that. We also stopped the smuggling of luxury vehicles coming into the zone. So the question that I have to answer was, what will I do next in order to make this economic zone really productive? And so we thought of something new, and this is to make CEZA as the global sandbox for financial technology and other technological innovations. We open up the zone as an area where cryptocurrency exchange operating offshore can do their business. And so with this having been established, we were surprised of the enthusiasm and interest coming from all over the world in this so-called disruptive technology. And so CEZA is now known not as a haven for illegal gambling and smuggling of luxury vehicles, but it's now being called the emerging crypto valley of Asia.
Secretary, I was there that day when you held that event, and I think the president had flown in for this. And I hope you don't mind, but for the benefit of our audience, this is the first time I've seen 24 luxury cars demolished. There were Ferraris, Maseratis, Mercedes-Benz, and all that. So it was almost as if you were sending a message, or it was a symbolic event, actually. Could you tell us a little bit about what was going through your mind at this time?
Well, when I came in, I found out that there were about 800 luxury vehicles in the zone. These were smuggled into the country through the economic zone, which is a free port. And we inspected these vehicles. They were Maseratis, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Porsche, and name it. And I asked the President and then the Secretary of Finance if is it okay that we are not going to auction this, because the buyers would definitely be the same people who smuggle these vehicles. And so we would like to send a message. We cannot profit from the fruits of a poison tree. And the President and the Secretary of Finance gave me the go signal to destroy these vehicles. And to my surprise, when the event was already scheduled, the President called me up and said, I want to witness the destruction of these vehicles. And so we destroyed more than 100 vehicles on 2 occasions. The first occasion, we destroyed about 20 vehicles. The next occasion, more than 80 vehicles. Now there are about 700 yet left in the zone, but these are utility vehicles. And we are donating them to our military, our police organization, and our other security organizations, and the different government agencies, more particularly the Social Welfare Department and the Department of Finance, including our Technical Skills Development Authority, so that the other vehicles that are still in the zone can be used productively, with no possibility for the smugglers to owning this and taking them out of the economic zone.
Secretary, I have one request. If you're holding another event where you demolish smuggled cars, can we please invite our audience to join us in CEZA?
Well, we have no plans anymore to demolish the cars and the vehicles that are left there. We decided that because these are utility vehicles like Hummer, Land Cruisers, Range Rovers, so we said that it would be better donate this to the military and the police, so that they can be used productively.
So for the benefit of the audience, last year, CEZA launched the Crypto Valley of Asia. The launch exceeded everyone's expectations. I think CEZA's issued over 30 licenses to global crypto exchanges. They've all agreed to set up in CEZA, and they've all pledged sizable investment commitments. I think I'm a photo bomber. I'm a consistent photo bomber in Secretary Lambino's pictures. But this was one in Korea with the President when you signed an MOU with Hanwha to set up the Blockchain Academy in CEZA.
Well, the funds that we have generated for the past 1.5 years, amounting to about $50 million. And part of this, of course, have to be remitted to the national government as shares. We have devoted these funds for the transformation of the economic zone by building more infrastructure, building roads, building warehouses, building our so-called CEZA Global City and our Financial Technology Center, so that there will be facilities where our locators can use in order for them to have their business thriving in the zone. You can see the big difference now of the infrastructure from what CEZA had 2 years ago. And in the next 3 years, you can see a very, very different CEZA. The skyline will be merged with high-rise buildings without destroying, however, our pristine beach areas and our forest areas of mangroves and hard species of wood that you can only find in the Philippines. And we have managed to come up with our master plans for areas such as our Palawi Island, which is considered one of the 10 most beautiful islands of the world by no less than the CNN Travel, where the TV series Survivor had been filmed twice. We have also long beach areas, 30 long stretch of white sand beach areas that are still to be developed. We have gotten commitments from several companies in Asia, primarily Korea, Japan, China, Hong Kong, Singapore, even Malaysian firms have shown interest to help us develop the zone. And we are counting that as of today, more or less about $8 to $10 billion of commitments have been made by different companies all over Asia.
Secretary Lambino, what's next for CEZA? So I think the FinTech initiative has done extremely well. I heard that you're planning to allow driverless cars, drones, and AI initiatives in the zone. Could you just talk to us about how you do this from a regulatory standpoint? Because I think for the startup community, a lot of entrepreneurs see regulators as a barrier to innovation. But in this case, CEZA and Secretary Lambino have actually been champions of innovation. So it is really a regulator embracing innovation. So I find it very exciting that the Philippines has this sandbox. And maybe just share with us your thoughts.
Well, just like other jurisdictions, ours in the Philippines, our central bank, our Securities and Exchange Commission, our finance department, they are somehow very conservative and reluctant to allow the immediate proliferation of these disruptive technologies. And I've been reading a lot of this matter 5-7 years ago. And I said that if given the opportunity, I would like to participate in the development of this technology. I never realized that we'll end up a regulator of an economic zone that allows this kind of technology, to be at least given a chance to grow. And we are very thankful to those who were responsible for crafting the bill and becoming into law, creating the CEZA as a free port and special economic zone, with provisions allowing financial technology and banking practices to be developed in the zone. And with this, we were able to craft several rules and regulations. The first one was our financial technology solution and offshore virtual currency exchange rules and regulation. We were able to come up with our rules and regulation on the establishment of self-regulatory organization. And I'm proud to say that we have already established our ABACA, which is the Asia Blockchain Association for Crypto. And we have also come up with our rules on the digital asset token offering. And today, I am going to announce here in Kuala Lumpur, in this World Digital Conference, that we are going to certify the very first company, the first bullion holdings, together with each subsidiary, which is the Flourish City Development. Both of these companies are registered in Seychelles, to be the very first one that will, make their digital asset token offering. We are going to certify that, and First Bullion and Flourish City Development can issue their digital asset token. And we are thankful to all our partners who help us realize this exciting development happening in CEZA. And the plan to issue about 4 million, I think, of tokens and raise $4 million for the development of the projects in Cambodia and the other real businesses related to health and healthcare and wellness, real estate, shipping, and others. So this will be the very first digital asset token that will be offered and be certified by CEZA.
This is truly exciting because I think there's been a lot of literature and talk in the media about the evolution of crypto and the evolution towards security tokens. But here we have an actual STO which has been approved by the Philippine government, and I think will be completed in the next few months. And I, for full disclosure, I also have a role in Abaca, so I know there's an extremely exciting pipeline of other security token offerings, which will happen between now and end of the year. And the agrowood is quite interesting because the oil from this wood is actually more expensive than gold.
Yeah.
So
that's based on the studies conducted by our financial advisors. And well, there are several other companies that have applied for the issuance of their security tokens in CEZA, and we are studying them very carefully. We have our accredited auditors and asset valuers based in Hong Kong that are helping us, approve or disapprove these applications. So rest assured that CEZA would be very open to all these applications, but we are also very, very strict, as we are a very firm believer in rules and regulations in order to protect the investing public because we do not want to lose the trust and confidence of the investing public in regard to things that we are introducing in CEZA.
Secretary Lambino, yesterday we had the opportunity to meet Dato Seri Anwar.
Yeah.
And I think one big topic was ASEAN integration and how countries in Southeast Asia can work closely together. I think a lot of entrepreneurs in the audience, when you're looking at starting a business now in technology, you can't just look at one country. You've got to look at Southeast Asia. But there are a lot of barriers to scaling across Southeast Asia. Different laws, different cultures, different practices. I think Malaysia and Philippines share a long and friendly history. What, in your view, could be ways in which both countries could build a stronger digital corridor?
Well, I'm very, very honored of meeting Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim yesterday, and I'm very pleased of what I heard from him, and I'm so happy. A leader like him, very open to this technology. This goes to show that the Malay race, of which we all belong in this part of the world, no, can be as good as any race in the world when it comes to matters involving innovative technology. And I'm praying that he will be the next prime minister soonest. And I hope that when he becomes prime minister, that he's going to champion in the ASEAN or in the region, no? The promotion of this technology. You know, I had experienced a similar situation like this about 20 years ago. I was a young lawyer, then working as chief of staff of the Speaker of our House of Representatives. And one of the things that we introduced was the interfaith dialogue, interreligious interfaith dialogue. And this has become a policy of the United Nations. Eventually, a resolution was approved by the Security Council and the General Assembly of the United Nations, adopting the interreligious interfaith dialogue, which has been accepted by all members of the United Nations. If that can be done in the United Nations, maybe we can start in the ASEAN, maybe we can start in the Southeast Asian region, and maybe Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim, when he becomes Prime Minister of Malaysia, could initiate such dialogue among the leaders of the ASEAN. That will enhance the immediate development of cooperation and of this new technology being accepted and regulated without necessarily stifling or killing this new business. Because as I said, there are other jurisdictions and regulators, more particularly central banks and Securities and Exchange Commission, which are not yet very open to this technology that's now becoming, you know, the fad is not just a fad, but this is inevitable. It's going to change the lives of the people. It's going to change the world, and it's now happening, and this cannot be stopped.
And so we're going to end this with a picture of one of the beautiful beaches in CEZA, so people can see the beauty that Cagayan has to offer. Please don't email Mel for your travel plans. Mel is actually the Chief Operating Officer, but if any of you are interested to visit CEZA, to take a look at the regulatory sandbox, if you've got new disruptive technology which isn't allowed in your market and you need to test it, I think CEZA is a place that you can consider. And maybe, Secretary, maybe you can just say some closing few words.
Well, again, I'm very thankful for this opportunity that I'm here together with these bright, young, and aggressive, innovative minds. I hope that I will be given a chance again to meet you in the future. But I would like also to take this opportunity to invite you to come and see for yourself what we are talking about CEZA. The CEZA is a different economic zone from the rest of the world. What we offer in CEZA are not just the regulations that will ensure that you can do business well, but of course the place itself. That is where you can find the best foods available coming from the sea, so to speak. We have more than 300 found the species that can only be found in CEZA. And I hope to see you there. You enjoy the food, you enjoy the beaches, you enjoy the mountains, the caves, and the fresh waters. I hope to see young people in their shorts and slippers and in their T-shirts working and making a lot of money in CEZA in 10 or 20 years from now. Thank you.
Thank you very much.